We have here today Stefan Molineux. He is the founder and he runs a philosophy show which boasts a 65 million download, which is something pretty incredible. Please put your hands together for Stefan Molineux.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I normally do pyrotechnics and cartwheels and confetti cannons for my speeches, but this is going to be a sort of data transfer. This is going to be like a matrix plugin of what I call the bomb in the brain, which is the effects of child abuse on domestic violence. I think to me, domestic violence is one of those words that artificially separates the violence that we see all around us in the world from the violence that has its origins in the family home. Really, all violence, I would argue, is domestic violence, because you cannot become an adult with the capacity to inflict violence on people unless you have first experienced violence within the home. And so I think that domestic violence is all violence. And if you want to solve the cycle of violence and you wish, as all good people do, to have a civilized and peaceful world, you must first focus on the origins of violence, the origins of war, the origins of abuse and human predation, which occurs in the womb, it occurs in infancy, it occurs in toddlerhood, and the bitter fruit is found in adulthood, when the spurned and hurt child is big enough to take vengeance on a world that either hurt him, ignored him, or supported and enabled his abusers. So we're going to go fairly rapidly. I have about an hour, and I'd like to leave a little bit of time for questions. So I'll go at 9 times speed, but I think you can slow down the recording later if you like. So I think every generation gets these scare stories in childhood. For me, when I was a kid, and you can let me know what it was for you. For me, when I was a kid, razor blades in Halloween candy. Is that still, there's younger people here, did that still occur for you guys? Fabrication. Yeah, well, mostly. I mean, it was very, very rare. Alar in apples. Do you remember that? There's supposed to be some poison in apples. Does anyone else have anything as scare stories as kids? What? I'm sorry? Well, the Tylenol thing was fairly real. I mean, but for kids that they talk about, this is really scary. Stranger abduction, again, it's real, but of course, most violence occurs within the home. But there's lots of things that people hear about or talk about. We remember the panic about swine flu. There was massive concerns about BPA in baby bottles, lead in children's toys. And these are all real issues, but very small relative to there is an amazingly and terrifyingly prevalent problem in society that has lifelong effects on health. And the data is still coming out about this. It can contribute to a 48% greater chance of contracting cancer. It has an average effect on the human lifespan of reducing it by 20 years, and it triggers massive increases in drug addiction, promiscuity, STDs, alcoholism, criminality, suicidality, depression, etc. And it is in general, though the data is discussed in professional journals, as yet misunderstood or not understood or not visible at all to the general population in society. It is a terrible omission within the culture that we do not talk about something which produces such horrendous negative effects, both to individuals and to society as a whole. So there is a study that is ongoing, and I had the head of the study on my show. 17,000 Kaiser Permanente patients or holders of insurance policies were studied over many years. And these are middle-class people, generally pretty affluent. They don't even represent where significant portions of the victims of child abuse end up, which is in the lower stratas of society or the invisible black and gray market stratas of society. And the head of the study, Dr. Vincent Felitti, developed something called the ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. And he tried to figure out why some people got so sick, why some people died so early, why some people were so prone